The recent trailer for She-Hulk has left many avid fans awaiting the debut of Marvel's newest Disney Plus project, but it has also left us with a few intriguing questions of our own relating to the upcoming series starring Tatiana Mansley as the titular Green Goliath and many of her supporting cast members who we see her with. While Jennifer Walters has not yet made her live-action debut, many cast members from the She-Hulk series are MCU veterans at this point, with a few even dating all the way back to the MCU's very inception more than a decade ago. Alongside Walters, the She-Hulk series also sees the return of Tim Roth in the role of Emil Blonsky after little more than a brief cameo in Shang-Chi. Otherwise, the character has not been seen since 2008, dating all the way back to the MCU's second ever entry, making Emil Blonsky the oldest recurring villain in the MCU to date in terms of film release scheduling. What is interesting about his appearance, however, is that in the trailer we can see Blonsky in his human form, imprisoned in the containment cell and being groomed to take on an antagonistic role yet again. Where Blonsky seems to deviate from his comic book source material, however, is the nature of his transformations, as we see them in the trailer, and the very fact that we see him in his human form to begin with is intriguing, and is a comic deviation. So how does this depiction of the Abomination stray from not only the source material, but his previous appearance in The Incredible Hulk? What is the likeliest in-universe explanation, and what does this mean for the character going forward? Well, stick with us today, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, and let's explore that very question. The primary point of contention that fans have pointed out is that Blonsky is not able to transform himself back to human form by comic book standard. And while there have been a very few exceptions of this throughout his long tenure in the comics, the baseline rule is that the Abomination always exists in his gamma irradiated form. His mutation is permanent, and he is not able to willingly revert back to his human form. This is due to the nature of both his and Bruce's respective exposure to gamma radiation, and by all accounts, the Incredible Hulk film seems to remain loyal to this comic precedent. Contrary to popular belief, the Hulk wasn't actually created by the gamma accident wherein we first see him. Instead, the Hulk was already an entity that embodied Banner's rage and fractured psyche, and the Hulk always lived within Banner's mind even before the explosion that caused the first appearance of the Hulk. He was always there. His chains, however, were not yet broken. What the accident with the gamma rays accomplished was that it gave the Hulk a physical form by mutating Banner's own body via gamma rays, and this finally allowed the Hulk to break free and become his own entity with a body to inhabit. Up until this point, he had just been a disembodied consciousness within Banner. This means that the Hulk and Banner are two distinct personalities that share one body, but characters like Jennifer Walters, Emil Blonsky, and other gamma irradiated beings like Doc Samson and the Leader are all one individual, not two consciousnesses. Banner is not the Hulk, and the Hulk is not Banner. Unlike these other characters though, that makes it strange to see Blonsky shifting back and forth between his human and his gamma forms, despite being unable to do so in the comics. One of the likeliest explanations is that this was the deliberate experimentation done by an exterior third party in order to cure the Hulk, much like what Banner himself tried to do in the 2008 entry. There are an abundance of individuals who would seek to contain the Hulk or even get rid of him entirely, and it seems possible that Blonsky was nothing more than a test subject for this experimentation before it was finally ready to be used against Banner. This popular fan theory proposes that the experiment first conducted by Samuel Stearns at the end of 2008's Incredible Hulk has been repurposed and revived, either once again by Stearns or by someone else, be it Ross, the government, or some other third-party individual. They might have done this with the deliberate intention of stopping the Hulk once and for all. If he underwent a procedure very similar to what we see Bruce do in 2008, then this could be the first indication of a successful Hulk treatment, and could spell severe implications for both Bruce Banner and Jennifer Walters, as well as the antagonists that might face in their series. This could indicate that someone is actively hunting the Hulks and other gamma irradiated individuals like Blonsky with the intentions of curing them, using research previously done on Emil Blonsky within the government facility in order to do so on the Hulk. We know that General Thaddeus Ross has been actively hunting the Hulk for years, and while the unfortunate passing of William Hurt means that he will not be returning in future MCU projects, it has been confirmed that he did finish his part for the She-Hulk series. Is it possible that Ross continued Stearns' experiments from the first solo Hulk entry in the MCU? If so, then it might mean that the research done by the Leader is currently being used by the United States government, as they conspire to ultimately defeat, contain, or destroy the Hulk permanently, as well as presumably Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk. while the Hulk is renowned as an Avenger and a hero of Earth, the government still has ample reason not to trust him and his motivation to use Blonsky as a precursor to this experiment. Not only has the Hulk been prone to losing control on multiple occasions, but he has actively been manipulated by others into causing untold destruction by forces outside of himself. Perhaps the prime example was in South Africa during the battle with the Hulkbuster, which in itself proves that even Tony Stark himself had contingency plans in place, and in place specifically for the Hulk, which even Bruce Banner regards as a smart move. We also know, however, that the leader's formula ultimately failed in the first time around. In The Incredible Hulk, he was able to treat one transformation and stop the Hulk from awakening on a specific, isolated occasion, though he states that he wasn't sure if they simply repressed one episode or if they had permanently gotten rid of the Hulk. The dialogue in the following scenes where the Hulk does return proves that this is the former, and while Stearns was able to stop one transformation, he ultimately failed to permanently get rid of the Green Goliath. This might be what is happening to Blonsky, as they were finally able to repress his monstrous form, though it is unclear whether or not this cure is actually a permanent solution, and presumably it is not. Whether or not this leaves Blonsky with the ability to transform back and forth at all, however, remains to be seen. It's also worth noting that they could ultimately take the character of Abomination in a different direction, and simply state that he gained more control over his monstrous Abomination form, although this would be a deviation from the comic precedent. But anyway, watchers, what do you think of today's theory? Do you think that Emil Blonsky is human because of exterior experimentation, or is this an alteration to the source material that isn't directly related to the plot of She-Hulk? We'd love to hear all your thoughts and theories on this in the comments down below. And as always, my friends, hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and I hope you have a great day.